Continuation 15. According to the non-devotees, the three aims of religion, economic development, and sense gratification are to be enjoyed. And the fourth aim, liberation, is the ultimate goal of life. But the Vaishnav, Kulashekar Alvar, thinks, quote, "Let them come of their own accord," end quote, as he considers the eternality of devotional service in the following words. Translation. O enemy of Madhu and Kaitaba, O Lord of the universe, the perfection of my life and my heartfelt prayer is that you consider me the servant of 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 your servant. End translation. In summary, we can say that Kulashekar, the king of Kerala, an ornament of the Kshatriya dynasty, did not pray to become a Brahmin. He was always eager to attain the eternally glorious position of a devotee of the Lord. This great personality was a spiritual master in the Sri Ramanuja Sampradaya and an incarnation of a devotee. Mahatma Yamuna Muni, Jamunacharya, has written, O Hari, you are the object of my surrender. I have no faith in Varnashram Dharma, and I have no knowledge of the soul. Furthermore, I have no devotion to your lotus feet. I am utterly destitute, a rogue with no idea of the goal of life. Therefore I take shelter of your lotus feet. O my Lord, I think it is better to be born as an insect in the house of a Vaishnava than to be born as Lord Brahma in the house of a non-devotee. End translation. Although this Mahatma was recognized as a seminal Brahmin, the extent to which he accepted subordination to his spiritual master, Bakulabharana Satakopa, who was considered a seminal Sudra, incarnation of devotee, and perfect Vaishnav, associate of the Lord, is understood from Stotra Ratna 7, wherein he declares, Translation, I reverently bow my head to the blessed feet, attractive as Bakula flowers, of Satakopa, the first acharya of our devotional family. For our disciplic succession, his lotus feet are everything. Our father, mother, son, wife, and wealth. End translation. Even after discussing the devotion that was shown to Satakopa by the sage Sri Alabandharu, who was born in a very prestigious Brahmin family, persons with insignificant smarta conceptions nevertheless claim to be Vaishnavas in order to fill their bellies while avoiding Vaishnava association and angrily disrespecting Sri Sri Vishnupad Raghunath Das Goswami Prabhu. Yet, if they are able to understand that the soothing lotus feet of Sri Das Raghunath Prabhu are the only refuge for their mothers, fathers, wives, sons, opulences, and respect, then they will achieve devotion to Krishna by the mercy of Sri Jamunacharya. Otherwise, they will simply prove their aversion to Hari and rejection of their Guru. Acharya Sri Ramanuja has stated, Translation, for the auspiciousness of the world and the benefit of neophytes. Even if one knows about a Vaishnava's birth, sleeping habits, and laziness, one should not, in order to proudly criticize, disclose these things in public. Rather than finding faults, one should glorify the Vaishnava's qualities. End translation. The definitions for both Vaishnavas and smartas are given in the Mandaka Upanishad 1:1, 4-5, and 3:1-3 as follows. Translation. Shaunaka said, "There are two kinds of educational systems. The knowers of supreme truth, who understand the taste of the Absolute, say that one of these kinds of education deals with transcendental knowledge, paravidya, and the other with worldly knowledge, aparavidya. The Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharvaveda, and their corollaries, known as the ritual kalpa scriptures, comprised of the sutras and so on. The Shiksha scriptures, explaining the places and methods of pronunciation of letters. The Vyakarana grammar scripture, teaching the proper use of words. The Nirukta scripture, teaching the derivation of the meaning of words. The Chand scriptures, concerning meters, and the astronomical Jyotisha scriptures, concerning the correct ascertainment of time. These all belong to the inferior system of material knowledge, apara vidya. These are honored by the non-devotees. If one studies these literatures with the spirit of enjoyment, he will simply be bound up as a ritualistic student of the scriptures. That potency of scriptural knowledge by which one can understand the aksara, Brahman, or the Absolute Truth, is the higher education, paravidya. When a person retires from the worldly conception of the smartas, he becomes eligible for paravidya, spiritual education. He then accepts Vishnu as his only self-interest and thus becomes a Vaishnava. Translation. There are two spiritual birds sitting together in a banyan tree. They are bound together by friendship. One of them is being supported by the other, his supporter. The two spiritual birds are the devotee Jiva and the Supreme Lord, both sitting on the same banyan tree of the material body. Of the two, the Jiva bird is eating the banyan fruits born from the body as the fruits of its karma, thinking them sweet tasting. The other bird, the Supreme Lord, does not partake of the fruits himself, but facilitates the eating of the other bird, who is enjoying the fruits. One bird, the living entity, considers his material body in terms of I and mine. Having no devotion for the Lord, he is afflicted with lamentation as the result of his karma. In this way, such a karma kanda smarta, being averse to the service of the Lord, spends his whole day in suffering material miseries. But as soon as the living entity gives up his smarta mentality and his desire for fruitive results, he immediately understands that the other bird, the transcendental Lord Vishnu, is distinct from all material, enjoyable objects. Thus realizing the eternal nature of the Lord's service, he becomes free from lamentation and comes to know the glories of the Lord's pastimes. End translation. The platform of Vaishnavism is attained when one realizes that he is an eternal servant of Krishna, and the platform of desirelessness is reached when one gives up the desire for enjoying the fruits of karma. Only when the jiva becomes a Vaishnava does he become pure and liberated. When upon achieving devotion to Vishnu, the completely purified jiva realizes his position as servant of the Lord and is able to see the golden-bodied creator of the universe, Hiranyagarbha. Then he gains the fruit of higher education. He completely gives up sin and piety, which were born from the worldly mentality of his lower education, and becomes altogether pure and transcendentally equal with the Lord. End translation. When a living entity is conditioned, he develops the mentality of a smarta, and when he is liberated, he develops the mentality of a servant of Hari. This is the only purport of the Vedas.